Today's politics and everything in between. This is Ikra 3 p.m. News, the station with a difference.
Continuous voter registration resumes ahead of 2027 polls. Death toll in Gilgil accident rises to 16. And Trump to meet Netanyahu as ending Israel's Gaza war reaches pressure point. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is 4 minutes past 30. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Welcome to Ikra News. My name is Ramla Abdi. State Department for Public Investment and Assets Management Principal Secretary Cyril Wagunda says the government will not back out of the decision to adopt the Electronic Government Procurement EGP system. Wagunda said that the government is determined to fully implement the electronic supply chain management system, which will see the migration of all government procurement processes to the digital platform. As a justification for embracing the new format, the PS said that the EGP will bring efficiency in the government, adding that going forward, anybody wishing to secure a government tender will have no choice but to do it electronically. The EGP system was rolled out at the beginning of the 2025-2026 fiscal year, and it is expected to become the sole procurement platform for all procurement processes for government ministries, departments, and agencies. The system, which is fully digitized, requires suppliers to register on the online platform, submit their tender bids online, and track the status of the tenders online. And the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, begins the continuous voter registration exercise on September 29th of 2025 in preparation for the 2027 general elections. The lounge at the Kajiado East constituency opens another window for eligible Kenyans to either register as new voters or update their details in readiness for the 2027 general elections. The exercise, IBC said, will be conducted at all constituency offices across the country, with the exception of areas set to hold by-elections. According to the Commission, the initiative is part of its mandate to maintain an updated and credible voter register, which is in cornerstone of transparent and inclusive electoral processes. Service on offer during the exercise include fresh voter registration, correction or updating of voter details, transfer of registration to a different electoral area, and verification of voter information.
This is 95.0 Ikra News.
Moving forward, 16 people have died after a road accident yesterday afternoon near Kikopey, Gilgil, along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway. 13 were reported dead on the spot, as 3 others who were seriously injured succumbed to injuries in hospital. Among those who succumbed to injuries were 2 children. According to Nakuru County Police Commander Emmanuel Opuru, they were in a 14-passenger vehicle headed to Nakuru when it collided head-on with a truck. According to reports, they had hired the matatu from Nairobi to head for a family function. A probe has been launched to establish more details on the deadly accident. And the High Court in Nairobi has been asked to declare illegal the alleged abduction and extradition of Ugandan opposition figures Colonel retired Dr. Kisa Besigye and Haj Obeid Lutale. In a petition filed through Senior Counsel Martha Karua and lawyer James Wanjeri, the two accused the Kenyan government of colluding with Ugandan authorities in a covert operation that violated their rights and undermined Kenya's sovereignty. Court papers state that 2 were not informed of the reasons for their arrest, denied access to counsel, and were never taken to a police station or presented before a court. Instead, they were allegedly bundled into a vehicle, driven to the Malaba border post, and handed over to Ugandan security agents. They say they later discovered their captures included Ugandan personnel who had entered Kenya, conducted an operation, and exited with them without following immigration procedures.
This is 95.0 Ikra News.
And human rights bodies have called for the scrapping off the continuous housing levy, which they term a national poverty enhancer. In their petition, the Kenyan Human Rights Commission, KHRC, Transparency International Kenya, the Institute of Social Accountability, Inuka Kenya Nisisi, and Siasa Police argue that the levy unfairly targets salaried workers while the political elite are spared. They also argue that the levy strips workers of scarce disposable income needed for their essentials such as food, healthcare, and education. They cited data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics 2024 Economic Performance Report, which shows the levy's regressive impact on socio-economic rights. They faulted the Kenya Kwanza regime for turning the fund into a vehicle for political patronage for the 2027 general election. The petitioners now want the High Court to suspend all deductions and declare the levy unconstitutional. Elsewhere, Kiambu County has lost 697 medical interns after the Ministry of Health ordered their redeployment to other stations across the country over a prolonged doctors' strike that has crippled health services in the country and disrupted training. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, directed all affected interns to collect their redeployment letters. The union warned it will consider interns who fail to do so as having abandoned their assignment by MOH. The Ministry of Health confirmed that the decision affects the entire cohort of 697 interns deployed in July, including 138 medical officer interns, 48 pharmacist interns, 5 dentist interns, 297 nursing interns, 134 clinical officer diploma interns, and 75 clinical officer degree interns. In a letter dated August 26th, Health Cabinet Secretary Adan Duale noted that the interns had not commenced their mandatory one-year program due to the ongoing industrial action, unlike their peers in their counties who had already begun training.
This is 95.0 Ikra News.
And Eldas Member of Parliament Adan Keynan has urged former President Uhuru Kenyatta to tone down his political attacks and allow President William Ruto's administration to deliver on its mandate without interference. Speaking in Eldas constituency, Keynan, who chairs the Northern Kenya Parliamentary Group, said it was regrettable that the former head of state had chosen to openly criticize his successor. Kenyatta accused the Kenya Kwanza, a government, of undermining the country's progress through what he described as untested experiments that he said were hurting Kenyans. Addressing the Jubilee Party Special National Delegates Conference at Ngong Racecourse, Nairobi, the former president argued that key achievements from his regime, including the Linda Mama program, had been eroded. But Keynan hit back, saying it was time for Kenyatta to respect the presidency and enjoy retirement.
This is 95.0 Ikra News. On to the international news.
On the international front is that United States President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are meeting in the White House for a fourth time this year as a plan for future governance of Gaza, decimated by Israel's nearly 2-year genocidal war, circulates, and the ironclad relationship between the two countries could be tested. Trump promised greatness in the Middle East and something special in another all-caps post on his Truth Social platform. He has made repeated statements recently that it is time for the war to end. The 21-point day after war plan was first presented to Arab and Muslim leaders on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly UNGA meetings in New York last week. According to numerous Israeli and Western reports, the plan says Hamas must release all 48 remaining captives in Gaza, about 20 of whom are believed to be alive, within 2 days. And now you're up to date on Ikra News at 13 minutes past 3. For more on these and other stories, do join us at 6 p.m. for another full bulletin in Swahili. My name is Ramla Abdi. Do enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
For more news updates, get us online at www.ikrafm.com or www.ikrafmwebradiosite.com.